And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Monday. It's the 26th. It's 2026. Hope you're having a good day. I went from 5 degrees to 85 degrees yesterday. Flew back Saturday evening just in case. Missed the big snowstorm up in New York City. And it was 85 yesterday here in Florida. And tonight's going to be 30. Wow. The winds are changing, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we hope you had a good weekend. We have some important things to cover. One, fun. Another, not so fun. And of course, we'll do the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, anything that affects you. Anything that'll affect things going forward. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you like to email us, just be nice. We'll also post it on the YouTube channel, Biz TV, and other podcast apps. So where do we want to start? Let's do the fun. We told you before the playoffs of the NFL how great we are picking teams and winners once it got to the playoffs. And we've always been asked, why don't you give us picks throughout the year? Well, it's too hard. There's too many games and don't have the time, and it's a lot tougher. And as you know, I think we're 20-5 in the Super Bowl since we started giving out. And I'm pretty sure we're in the 70s, if not 80s, in the playoffs. And we hadn't done for a couple of years, but we felt, let's do it this year. And I got a couple of sarcastic emails. Who do you think you are? We're not getting sarcastic emails anymore because we're 9-1. We gave you out Denver plus the points, and they covered. And we gave you Seattle minus the points, and they covered. 9-1. The worst we can do is 9-2. We have a Super Bowl coming up. New England, Seattle. And as you know, I've been a big believer Seattle is going to win the Super Bowl. So they're in it. I have yet to even look at the line. I don't even know what the line is, but I'm going to guess for Seattle. That's my guess. And I'm sure it'll move around. In fact, Super Bowl line, I'm putting it up right now, 2026. Seattle opened as 3.5 to 5-point favorites with the line settling around 4.5. Okay. Total 46.5. Well, we're going to wait. It's 2 weeks before the game to give you out our pick, because you never know what happens in the intervening 2 weeks. And we get asked, dang, 9-1, 20-5 in the Super Bowls, 70 to 80% in the playoffs. What do you do? We just have the knack. We have been following football judiciously throughout the years, and we have this feel in the playoffs about home teams versus away teams, line movements, and the defenses. Not the offenses, the defenses. With Denver, we knew they had a quarterback that hasn't taken a snap in like 2 years, and we still took him. And they covered. The line started like 4.5 or 5 and went down to 3.5. My bet myself, I got 3.5, and I won by a half point. Little better coaching, they could have won the game, but Monday morning quarterback is not the way to go. We thought it would be a higher scoring game, but then the snowstorm came in, and that was the end of that. I did bet the over. I lost the over. I had the over and Seattle. In that game, I won both. I thought Seattle was just a better team, and it was a close game. I knew Rams were going to do some offense. I didn't know how good Seattle would do. We still think Seattle's winning the Super Bowl. We've been thinking that all along. I said the reason why, and I told you, was we had their defense in Fantasy League, and defenses win Super Bowls. And as long as you don't make crazy mistakes on offense. So we'll give you our pick in a couple weeks. 9-1. I got a ton of emails from you guys. I got people wanting to send me gifts and buy me dinners. We don't want anything. We just enjoy doing it. 9-1. Anyway, New England, Seattle minus 4.5. Interesting. New England, a very well-coached team. But there's something they didn't do in the last game that has to worry. They couldn't run the ball. You're going to need to run the ball in the Super Bowl, I can tell you that. Anyway, that's our football stuff for today. And you're welcome. I love that we're 9-1, by the way. I'm like patting myself on the back, feeling pretty cool. Am I allowed to? By the way, you hear my voice? That's from going to from 70 degrees to 5 degrees, back to 85 degrees in a matter of days. And by the way, there was one time I walked out my apartment in New York City. It was 5 degrees, and then the wind hit you. Holy crap. No fun. Okay. Before we get into markets, the next thing I want to talk about is Minnesota. The administration obviously doesn't listen to us. But boy, oh boy, if you love this president, you need to message him and let him know what a politically disastrous weekend this was for the whole frickin' Republican Party. And remember, under Biden, we would come on this show and tell you it's like Biden standing out in the rain and telling us it's sunny out. We're not idiots. A man is dead in Minneapolis, and they made up a bullshit story about the man, and they look like idiots. They look like liars. And they lost a lot more votes come this November, this weekend. They are going to lose the House, I think, 40 seats. It's going to be tough to lose the Senate, but I wouldn't put it past now. Because I got news for you. When all is said and done, if people cannot trust you, you got a problem. And what is she, the Homeland Secretary, Kristi Noem? Is that what she is? And Stephen Miller, who's one of the big advisors on immigration? They need to have masking tape put over their mouths. They should not say another frickin' word. Because a man is dead. A woman was dead a couple of weeks back. They should not be dead. You can talk blue in the face, but this is not how it's supposed to go. And I was one to tell you, the first thing I said about that woman who was shot and killed, if she wasn't there, it wouldn't happen. I said that first and foremost, and I stick by that. But she shouldn't be dead. She shouldn't have been shot. This man doubly shouldn't have been shot. Yet there's video defining that, and they'll still look you in the face and tell you, oh, no, he was there going to attack everybody, and he's a domestic terrorist, and horse crap. Politically disastrous. And there's no more of the president sitting on the side, everybody taking the gruff, when their messaging is well known coming from him. 2 Americans dead. You can throw blame one side or the other. Doesn't matter. They're dead. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it. Then hit the market. Lots to cover. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Let me go further on how stupid these people are. They actually came out and tried to say, what was he doing there with a gun? Even though he was legally allowed to have a gun, even though he never pulled the gun. They had the nerve to complain about that. But remember that Rittenhouse guy who walked around with an AR, whatever it's called, and shot 1 or 2 people? They praised him, but now the other side. You get my point? Sheer hypocrisy. And they want votes? I got news for you. I'm a big believer those people should not be there in the midst of ICE doing their job. They should not be there. If you're going to protest, there's designated places to protest. You stay there. You don't get near them while they're doing their job. Why? Because ICE is getting death threats up the wazoo. Threatened. Up the wazoo. They've got to look at everything like a threat. But still completely mishandled, illogical handling of 2 deaths. And you can argue blue in the face to me, I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap. Illogic. You know what else is illogic? That they're still there. Get the hell out of there. And figure out better ways. There are better ways. I hate seeing this. 2 people dead. And I know there's the politics. I don't give a crap about the politics side. Total mishandling of this. And the ICE operation should stop and figure out a better way to do it. Why? We don't want a third. That's all. And I can promise you, the man who shot the woman, the man who shot the man, it's the last thing they want. They're not murderers. They're not out to murder. But it still happened. We hope they got it right, or get it right. It's all illogical. And the reaction was such bullcrap. I thought I was watching Joe Biden all over again. Yeah, the border's secure. Donald Trump is going to be impeached in 2027 when the Dems get the House. He will not be kicked out because you need 67 votes in the Senate. But in case you do not know, it has come out and it has not been refuted that if Trump was going to use the military into Greenland, the Republicans were going to look to impeach him. And that's why he backed away. I believe that. And do you know why? Because they're not refuting it. This administration had better get their act together. Enough of the lies, enough of the BS, enough of the name calling, enough of the tariff threats. Oh, we're going to do 100% on Canada. Now Canada's our enemy. They're making everybody our enemy, and not everybody is our enemy. I saw somebody from whatever foundation called China the enemy. They're the enemy. If they're the enemy, why do we have $700 billion of trade with them every year? That's not an enemy. Sure, you could have them at an arm's distance. You can be worried about them. But they got to get rid of the rhetoric. All this is all well known. The president had better slow the roll. Still got 10 months to figure this crap out. And by the way, I don't have TDS. I'm rooting for him. But this weekend sucked. And the try to cover up sucked. And it makes them look stupid. And I know a bunch of MAGA people. They ain't MAGA anymore. So imagine what the independents are. We move on. As you know, we're good at segueing. We go right into the market. I got to bring up the administration again. The socialist control freak administration, I guess they're taking a position in a no-sales rare earth company. And for the life of me, I call myself Mr. Logic because I'm just logical. Why would you take a position in a company that has no sales? And why would you even take a position in any companies? We haven't done that in ages. I can't tell you how much this... I got news for you. The Republicans, this administration, are Democrats, and the Democrats are socialists. Anyway, USAR, they took a position in no sales. If I find out some of the politicos took a position in it before this news, I'm going to jam it on the radio big time. Stock opened at 32, closed at under 27, and the other rare earth stocks got hit hard because most of them have no sales, and I guess they weren't included. I can't tell you how much I can't stand any of this. I had to bring that up too. I don't care if you're an R&D. I don't want any government taking positions in private companies, especially no sales stuff. They announced it a few months ago, and they all dropped 50% after. I wonder what happens next. The Dow was down almost 300 Friday, was up 300 today. We'll go through the stocks and sectors and a few sore thumbs today. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So, this week, do we have a Fed meeting this week? Fed meeting January. Yeah, there's a Fed meeting this week on Wednesday. I do not believe they will be cutting rates. This week, tomorrow, Boeing and United Health in the Dow. On top of that, Synchrony Financial, Union Pacific Railroad, UPS, Seagate Technology, Texas Instruments, General Motors. Wednesday, Amphenol, ASML Holdings, AT&T, ADP, Brinker International, Corning, GE Vernova, Starbucks. I keep them in business. UBS, after the close on Wednesday. C.H. Robinson Worldwide, Canadian Pacific Rail, Celestica, IBM in the Dow, Lam Research, Landstar, Las Vegas Sands, Facebook, Microsoft, Tesla, those three after the close Wednesday. ServiceNow, United Rentals, Waste Management, Southwest Airlines. Thursday, Amphenol, Altria, Blackstone, Caterpillar, and Honeywell in the Dow. Dow Chemical, Lockheed Martin, Sherwin-Williams in the Dow. MasterCard, Norfolk Southern, Parker Hannifin, SAP. Tractor Supply. After the close Thursday, Apple, KLA Tencor, Hot Stock SanDisk, and Western Digital. Visa in the Dow. Friday, American Express in the Dow, Exxon, Verizon in the Dow, and a crapload more. We have no idea which ones are going to gap up, gap down, surprise to the upside, surprise to the downside, guide higher, guide lower. We'll be on it. Any way you cut it. As I said, the Dow was up 300 today after being down almost that much. Today, the winner's Apple. Stock's been dead. Nothing but bearish. Up $7.70 today. Any news? Somebody said something, nothing big. But somebody's in there buying right before earnings. Meta was up 14. Another mega cap. Microsoft up 4, another mega cap. SAP up 8, another mega cap. Oracle up 5, another mega cap. Last week we said the mega caps are waking up a little bit into earnings. We'll see how it goes. Another decent day. That helped. Interesting enough, the NASDAQ was up 100. But advanced declines were negative on the NASDAQ. Why? The mega caps. That's how it rolls sometimes. Of note, I see some retail stocks topping out. I see restaurants topping out after a nascent rally. I see the housing stocks look like they're hitting a wall. So just letting you know, some consumer areas seem to be, coming in a little bit. Gold and silver. Write these words down. A chance today, silver went climactic. A chance, not 100%. Climactic for us means silver, after a gargantuan move up, hit 106.70 today on the SLV, closes at 98.34 on the biggest volume, and has what we call the little space needle. Space needle. You know what the space needle is? Go look. Seattle's space needle. But price finishes near the low of that needle. So a chance here, silver, after just, wow, climactic near term. We'll keep you up to date on that, which would also mean the metals and mining. They've all had a pretty good move. The palladium, the platinum, the gold, the coal, the steel, and all that crap may have hit the wall today. We'll watch them as they pull them back, but we think there's a decent chance. We've studied climactic moves. They don't happen very often. The only way it could happen is if something goes just about vertical in price. and then finishes up with the Space Needle. You got one of those Space Needles today. Does it affect things? Beats the hell out of me. I just know I think there's a chance, and probably a good chance. We'll keep informed. Amazing run in silver. And I've been told the shortages is what's causing it. Central banks buying. I don't know. Everybody has their reasons. That is your story on that. Bitcoin. Still acting like the south end of a northbound jackass. And the person who called for 150,000 in December changed it to the end of January, and they're still talking it up. I saw somebody again today call for 1.5 million by 2030. Let's see, 26, 27, 20, 4 years. It would have to go about, what, at this point, 17-fold? Okay. We're just letting you know, in order to go to 1.5 million, you got to get 200,000 again. And then you're going to go, you get my point. We make no predictions. It's still in a bear market. It's still in a void. And we repeat again, you're welcome on MicroStrategy, because we've been telling you since 400, and it is 160. And I can tell you it better not break 150. Why? A lot of leverage. And you know what happens to leverage if price keeps going down? The selling has to feed on itself to cover the leverage. And then the house comes tumbling down. You don't believe me? It's already gone from 457 to 160. Last I looked, what is that, 60%? While Bitcoin's only down in the 20s? This should be one heck of a lesson for each and every one of you on the word leverage and the two words utter stupidity. Others have called it scheme, what the guy's doing with MicroStrategy, now called strategy. We don't use that word. What we do say is, we don't get it. All you are now is an owner of Bitcoin and leveraged. And the last bear market in Bitcoin dropped at 75%. Imagine if Bitcoin now drops 75% and you're really leveraged now. Not hard to figure out. Of course, if Bitcoin rallies, leverage does help. But I got news for you. Ain't helping now. So big week. The Fed will not lower rates this week. I'm pretty sure of that. No reason to. The president will call him a moron and an imbecile and too late and a jackass, but Jay Powell's done nothing wrong in the last year. All his errors were a bunch of years back when he printed the $9 trillion and bought up the whole frickin' bond market, taking the 10-year yield down to 0.5% and distorting everything. The housing market. Up next. What else? We'll figure it out. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. So, big week coming up. Next week, there'll be a ton more earnings. Let's see. Next week will be Amazon and Google. Alphabet. And as we said, Google's about the only mega cap stock in what we call good shape. The other ones that have been rallying a bit in the last couple of days, just recovering some of the pretty good losses on the recent pass. 10-year yield back towards 4.2. That's good. Lower the better. Oil prices kind of flattish today. Like to see them come down more. I'm happy to see the metals and mining coming down. Just remember, you make things with copper, you make things with platinum, you make things with palladium, you make things with petroleum, you make things with silver. Keep going up. That's inflation, kids. So good to see. And again, to little backtrack, we think a decent chance here that silver had a climactic day today. You can never be 100% sure, but it sure defined it. It sure defined it. And as always, we'll stay on top of it for you. I wish we had great other news to report, but man, out there just... I've always complained to you about the lie of the climate hoax. One of the greatest hoax still going on, perpetrated on you. They're still trying to tell you. I saw John Kerry out this week. We're just tired of the bull crap out of DC. And they better stop. Enough. Not everybody's the enemy. Stop inventing crisis after crisis in order to move your own dial. Making up crisis. The whole global war is made up. Not hard to figure that out. It was global cooling. And then we had a couple of hot years. They said, They changed it to global warming. By the way, they called you an idiot if you don't believe in global cooling. It was on all the front covers of magazines. Head of the news. Then they went to global warming. You know, there is video of Al Gore on TV in the mid-'80s saying Florida's going to be underwater. It's out there. The grapefruits of these people to tell you 10 years we're doomed, even though the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. After they went global warming, there was a couple of years where the whole world was like blizzards. So they got into a room with a marketing company and an advertising agency, and they came up with climate change. Do you know what they're telling you about this blizzard yesterday? It's climate change. Shut up. Do you know how rich these people have become for doing this? Do you know how many scientists get grants that they never have to pay back for this? The nerve of them to tell us what's going to happen in the next few years with the Earth 4.5 billion years old. The nerve of them in plain sight tell us we have 10 years. Tell us we're the idiots. Tell us it's global warming when it is blizzards. What do they think? We haven't lived our lives? When I was 8, the first week I was in North Miami Beach, Florida, in an apartment, got a tornado. We had some of the worst hurricanes in my early years of my life in Florida. But they tell us the hurricanes now are worse. Lie. Oh, by the way, where were all the hurricanes this year that they predicted? I think there was one bad one, right? Well, that's one side of the aisle. We don't want bullcrap from the other side, and it's tiresome. We taught our kids, if you lie, expect to be called on it. First, you're going to have to cover up the lie. And then when it's found out you lied, whenever you say something, who's going to trust you? Do you think I trust a word that comes out of this administration now? After telling us other countries pay for tariffs? What are you trying to kid? Amongst about 100 other things? You think we're ever going to trust Joe Biden? Telling us the border's secure? As tens of thousands of people were walking across daily on video? Barack Obama? Trust him? Telling us Obamacare? Put millions of people into insurance and get rid of pre-existing condition, but don't worry, your premiums are going to go down? I'm still amazed we've never had a third party that really took out the Republicans and Democrats. Well, I guess you could call Trump a third party. But you know what I mean. These are the same people that told us, oh, campaign finance reform is going to take money out of politics. No, they added bazillions. All lies. Yet so many people still take sides. That side, this side. And all they all do is lie. All they all do is lie. And when I want a conservative running the country, I don't want tariffs because you're raising taxes. I mean it. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Hoping things get better, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.